Hello, everyone. It's the Ken Braverman podcast. It is 7:37 p.m., which means I've been working for about a half an hour here on December 8th and Thursday night football, Thursday night podcast. And I wanted to get done all of the sports that are possible to get done in a reasonable amount of time. That would be football, NBA, you're looking at, hockey, which is a disaster, but hockey's a fun sport to watch. Let's just watch the game. And then college basketball, which is the sport of choice to bet, in my opinion. Um, and I've also done some other things I want to talk about programming wise. So it's going to be a learning adventure, not just about sports betting, because I'm not really wanting to bet. I putting the money in this is actually ruining it for me. I'd rather just let it play out. And so we'll see if I can continue to do that, or if I bet, I don't know. But I don't want it to be about betting. I want it to be about programming and trying to get outcomes to emulate what happens. So let's start with NFL really fast. There's a whole week, which I did a whole video about the whole week. Let's just talk about the Thursday night game. Rams and Raiders. For some reason, it's predicting a 3 touchdown and a field goal type game in LA. You can get the Rams plus almost a touchdown. It says they go over. Does any of this make any sense? You could open up the projection pivot and open up those teams. Look at the Rams here. Are the Rams making sense? Do they really have 5 running backs? No, this is the problem. Actually, we got too many running backs in here, which is inflating their score. So it's probably screwing stuff up. What about the Raiders? See, I haven't really dug in and done the analysis because it's for you guys. That's why I sell the algorithms so you can use them. Where's the Raiders? All right, below. Where are they? Where are you, Raiders? Can't see. There they are. Raiders have 4 running backs, and Josh Jacobs is apparently running excellent, and Devontae Adams is putting up points. So that's why the Raiders have so I understand now why the Raiders are favored, because we're inflating the Rams offense a little bit. I think that's actually true, because if we look at the Rams in previous weeks and how we've done, we'll see that we messed up with them. You can look at wins and losses. And this is all the things you can just go on forever. You can see that when we've been picking them, they've been losing. So we've been inflating them, something to do with their roster. And I bet you it's because a lot of these guys are not, a lot of these Rams guys are not playing anymore. Like, is Ronnie Rivers ever getting the ball? I mean, there's 5 of them here and they're all low, which is showing that their run game is distributed and weak, as opposed to the Raiders' run game, which has really a lot of strength with Josh Jacobs. So it's kind of like, if Josh Jacobs is running the ball, or if Josh Jacobs gets injured or something, you can see dramatic things changing the game with an impactful player like that. And apparently Devontae Adams as well. So with that kind of more analysis, you see that why the algorithm is screwing this up a little bit. But at least it has it way down here. So it's also saying that basically that it is still a really close game. So that Rams plus 6.5 might actually win. But we'll move on to another sport because that's enough NFL talk and the game's starting soon. NBA. NBA only has 3 games tonight and updated injury reports and stuff. And I did see very reasonable lines with injured teams. And so 10% margin, Rockets have been, don't listen to me ever. Just listen to the algorithm. 10% margin. Their injuries are significant, but so are the Spurs. So it's one of those toss-up games, but at minus 115, supposedly Houston's the better team here. Same situation with Denver, a little less injured. So this is also doable. It's 6% margin. In basketball, the basketball algorithms, the NBA is good with this. So and home and away doesn't ever seem to matter. So that could be another one. The other one's a lot closer, apparently. And the injuries are more closer in nature in terms of how injured they are, but the margin's super low. So it would say Clippers plus 7 if you're doing the spread line, because it thinks it's a really close game. So there's that. It would be these 2 and the Clippers plus 7. Next, let's go. We're going to end on hockey because it's a mess. We'll go to college basketball because there's something else I want to talk about in here. So with college basketball, it's a much lighter slate today, but I was asked to add the rank of the team based on this ranking system from NCAA.com. So now you can go here and paste this ranking and it will come up right on the left here. All these are showing up. We don't need to worry about anymore for now. All these are showing up right now, but some of them are not completely matrixed, and there's something you have to do that. So like these teams are not showing up as a name, and that's because their name was abbreviated or altered slightly in the NCAA version. They're showing up here as blanks next to what their name is. So some of these are easy, like Baltimore County or something. It is going to be like, say, I don't know how exactly to type it. It's Maryland, Baltimore. Yeah, like it's somewhere in here. So what we can do is we can sort this alphabetically and start to find these and be like, all right, well, what is Baltimore, right? It's this one. So if we copy this and then go find that blank again, which was UMBC, right here, paste it, should work. Yeah, it'll eventually go clear when I clear this all out. But that's how you do this in order to get all of them. It's just a little bit time consuming because you're trying to match names. And some teams don't exist in the system at all, like Houston Christian is not in the standing sheet. So we can only get teams that show up here. And those are teams that generally show up in this one from RotoWire, which is the team stat from RotoWire. If the team is tracked and in a conference or whatever, those are the only ones that we keep stats on. I don't know why that is. I don't know smaller schools, like what happens and like why they don't have full schedules in there or whatever. So after all that, we have a ranking now next to the team names, basically. So your ranking of this team is here. Utah is the 29th, and Jacksonville State is the 227th, right? So you can see that when you have a high number that's green, or a number that's closer to one, or a top ranked number that's green, that's good. Red is bad, right? All right, so that's now emulating what supposedly the margin is doing, but this is just a natural assessment of what the ranking that those whoever makes the rankings of those games, whatever they're doing. Okay, so is there anything to play here? Well, you want to play home teams. And these lines are not terrible, but Iowa's really injured against Iowa State, so that's scary. Colorado has a really good strength of schedule. This is probably a pretty big win for Colorado. It's only 7% margin, though, but they're healthier. And it looks like Ohio State beats Rutgers, too, at a higher margin. Michigan's on the road. It's very tough to take teams on the road, but they are Michigan. But they are a little injured, so scary up here. That's a pretty clear reason not to take them at a minus 180. I mean, on the road, to only a 10% margin. I mean, they could get bumped out of there based on how high the home margin can go. Marshall beating Duquesne, the line's good, but they're on the road. Can't do this. So Mass is injured against UMass Lowell, and the margin is way down here at below bump range. This is what it looks with no home bump at all, which is helpful to look at. Because home teams on this list probably all win, except Iowa's injured. So it's Ohio State, Colorado. You can't really bet Utah's line there. So it's Ohio State and Colorado are the two that are the home teams that are on both lists. And you can see this game switches, but the line's not even that good for UMass Lowell on the road anyway. So it's a really light night for college basketball. Is there any? So you can see these are really good teams. Go look at this. Look at the ranking here. So it's interesting that a ranking that close has a minus 240 because Ohio State is at home, but that is nice to look at. And Iowa ranked worse than Iowa State, not in our version, but in the rankings version. So this is a disagreement. This is interesting to look at. I never thought of bringing this in. So I applaud the desire to have this because I can see why it's relevant. So wow. So you're going to get another way of looking at the college basketball algorithm compared to the odds makers, and not only the odds makers, but the common consensus voters, the people that are ranking teams. So in this situation, if Iowa beats Iowa State, even injured, man, it's a tough one because they're injured. That's a tough one to judge. Ohio State's a little better. Here, Ohio State is not ranked high as Rutgers. We're giving Ohio State a 5% margin, regardless of whether or not they're home, regardless. So that means we think that basically Ohio State should be ranked 25th and Rutgers should be ranked 28th. So this is a good standard candle type game to look at to see how the algorithm is doing against the odds makers. Although the odds makers even think Ohio State wins even more. It's the ranking. We'll start to see how relevant this ranking is and whether or not it's agreeing with our margins. Because if you were looking at rankings, other than Ohio State being home, which is really helpful, you would say, oh no, Ohio State's not as good as Rutgers, according to the rankings. And Iowa, not as good as Iowa State. Here it agrees on Colorado, which is making Colorado look like even more the pick of the day, isn't it? After that discussion we just had about all these other games, we got disagreement in rankings here. We've got bad lines. Here we've got healthy. We've got great strength of schedule. The ratings people also think Colorado is better, and the margin's 2% with no home bump, and they're home. So it looks more like this. So after talking through this very limited schedule, it's apparent that Colorado to win is the pick of the day, even though it does not pay. It is the most reliable because it fits all of the factors that you would say are confirming factors within the algorithm, that there's no reason not to play them. Where there are reasons with Iowa injured in their ranking, there are reasons with Ohio State's ranking and potentially a very good Rutgers team. So there you go. So on to hockey, which is a disaster. But there are 5 games and hockey's fun. Is there anything worth watching? Are there any good odds? My advice for hockey is that it's fun to watch and play, and it's really frustrating to wager on. And so knowing that about hockey, it makes me want to only take good lines. I mean, because like if you're always going to deal with bounces, why not have those bounces pay off when you hit them? So we would look for this has worked historically. I've talked about doing straight bets in hockey, which is when I talk about which games it says to play as straight bets. That has worked. So let's continue along that philosophy, because you're not going to hit you think you're going to hit a 5-team round robin parlay in hockey? Yeah, once every year. Or you'll get it with all unders or all overs or something crazy, like just accidental. You won't get it knowing what you're doing. Like there's none of, you can't really predict an over under in hockey unless 2 goaltenders are completely on fire and you get it like a -6.5. Like that's the only way you can do it reliably. The under is the bet in hockey when it comes to that. But I want to stay away from that because that sounds like gambling. It sounds like frustration. And I like saying no to that world for a lot of the day, a lot of time. So, but winners and watching hockey, always fun. So let's go on that route for a second. So there are 5 games. LA, Toronto. Algorithm thinks Toronto, buy a goal, line bad. So that would make this essentially unbettable, unless you want to take LA for no reason because it pays 150. And the algorithm doesn't say to do that at all. So we're just going to do nothing because Toronto loves to lose games. Next, Nashville and Tampa Bay. Elliott and Soros. And I think these are all confirmed goalies, are very, very close. Tampa Bay barely, line bad. Once again, I guess you don't bet it. Detroit and Florida. Very close game. Detroit, a generous plus 175. So here, Nedved going, though, not Husso. That's why. I don't like that. This is one where an over probably happens. It's probably set at 6.5 for sure. Maybe even 7. Yeah, it's 6.5 right here. So once again, hockey just impossible. You can take Detroit here. I know you don't want to, but you can because it's close enough that tie, win in overtime, whatever. There's a great line here. And when it comes to making straight bets in hockey, I don't do this. And I don't know if I ever will, but it's like, all right, well, if you throw 500 down on Detroit and they get up 1-0 and you have in-game cash out option, they get up 2-1 in the second period or something, right? Because Bobrovsky has a bad day. And if any of that happens, then that 500 you put in the second period, you can be able to cash out for like $700. And in that sense, I kind of understand a pick like this in hockey in a straight bet. And there's a chance they win. And plus 175, your 500 pays what? Like you get back like $1,300 or something like that. I'll run it through the thing. Yeah, like that's a more like 1,400 almost or something like that, 1,380 or 1,350, something crazy like that. And that's really, really good because of how close this game is supposed to be, and it's hockey, right? That's the only advice I can really give is like, that's the way you have to play this. Because plus 175 in a hockey game, how bad is Detroit? Well, Negevic's probably going to give up some goals, but they also have some offense this year. The algorithm says Florida is overrated right now. And this one minus 200 is not a good bet. That probably wins, but we'll see. Next, or you can do Detroit plus 1.5, probably minus 110. Winnipeg and St. Louis. Here it really says Winnipeg crushes, and they're only minus 120. Really good Connor Hellebuck. Really, you got green and red here. This is a big disparity, and here it's not a terrible line. Bryce going for St. Louis, not Bennington. A lot of confirmation here, so that's almost straight bettable because it would be nice if you get it at like minus 110, but minus 120 is not that bad. So that's actually probably the number one winner pick of the day, unless we see something in Dallas and Ottawa with Ottinger going, and they're the strongest team, but they're minus 195. And Ottawa's a weird team, and Talbot sometimes plays really well, although as the season has progressed, his number has dropped dramatically because he started off really strong or something. So the line's not bettable. So I guess it's Winnipeg to win. We're gonna go through all the sports picks that if I were to dump my life saving, no, I'm kidding. If I were to bet the big bet of all the round robin of picks I think are supposed to win based on algorithm projections, which of course, big old asterisk, big old caveat, of course you can go own everything in one day. Just expect that in sports betting. Expect that to happen. Okay, so understand that going in, but sometimes you'll win. And when you win, you do make smart picks. Winnipeg to win. Somehow Detroit to win on a straight bet, though, but not a round robin. Nothing else I'm liking here. NBA. There was like 3 in NBA, at least 2. Rockets to win. Nuggets to win. Clippers plus 7. 3 there. College basketball. Colorado to win. Right? That goes on the round robin. And NFL was the Raiders are probably winning. What do you do here? Winning game distributed bad radio. Man, we know this game's supposed to be like 25, like 15 or 17 or something, right? That's what's supposed to happen here. The Raiders are actually probably covering because the Rams really stink, even at home. But the Raiders are weird. I'm just gonna stay away because I cannot like anything in this game. But and the other things, especially NBA, will do that where it'll win everything and it'll be totally predictable, especially on short nights. So watch this thing probably win. That's a good one. And then was there anything else in college basketball? We didn't want to dance with anything except maybe Ohio State at home. I mean, the Ohio State at home sounds like a win. That's why it's minus 240. Now, I think that's about it. So whatever I just said. All right, that's the podcast. Good luck. I'm on to Louisiana payroll, believe it or not, and a bunch of other states because I've been making a lot of progress with my payroll application. And that is what I'm working on the rest of the night. Get through some more states. Good luck, everyone. May all your picks be winning.